Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fenton Forest 4X map with seasons with me, See What So here on what is a brand new day, the last day of autumn, and my headers thankfully are still on my header trailers. Very nice. Right, at the end of the last video we did the old grass mowy type chaffing thing around some of the fields. I even did a strip round the edge of field 25 off camera before it sadly got dark. So we got a little bit of silage. I've also got a little bit of grass going into hay, but today we're going to be focusing on removing the weeds that are sadly taking themselves a little bit too seriously on some of our fields. Now we need to do that. So I'm going to need one of these, I think. Whichever one's got the herbicide in it, that would be you. And we're going to go focus on weed spraying. We will then go and focus on fertiliser spreading as well. And then we'll get the forage harvester probably put away, unless I decide to do a little bit more forage harvesting today. Again, if I do that, it will probably be off camera. I also want to quickly take the time to apologise for the fact that on some of the recent videos that I've been uploading, the thumbnails may be a little bit misleading. Sometimes, I've noticed today, as I've been uploading some videos this morning, early on to YouTube, which should go live on the channel next week, that the thumbnails do not match up with the content in the actual video. And I think what's happened there is at some point in time I've either accidentally deleted a photo, a thumbnail, or I forgot to capture one, so therefore I'm out of my thumbnails are slightly out of sequence, or the image in the thumbnail, the title on the thumbnails are all okay, and the episode numbering on the thumbnails is okay, because, you know, I've done that in paint.net prior to uploading the video. But the actual bulk of the thumbnail, the actual picture, is actually for the is basically an episode early. I think. And now I noticed that on episodes 47, 48, 49 and 50 specifically, they are definitely the main image in the thumbnail is out of sync with what's in the video. So I apologise if people are getting maybe clickbaited. They're seeing the image in the video, coming to watch the video, and then going, hang on a minute, I haven't seen what's in the thumbnail. I apologise for that, and what I must try and do going forward is make sure I capture a screenshot or a thumbnail for every episode. In fact, I'm going to grab that one there now as I go across the bridge. Make sure I capture a thumbnail for every video I record. Sometimes I don't do that, and then sometimes I try and capture multiple thumbnails in one video, and I think that's where I get a little bit confused with myself. And then of course when I'm going through my screenshots folder anyway, deleting videos and stuff, of pictures and stuff, I may accidentally get a little bit have a little bit of finger trouble and delete too many, and then I end up deleting a picture that I haven't actually used for a screenshot but I was going to use for a thumbnail, and yeah, I end up getting myself in trouble. I'm going to try and do a little bit better on that front. Also today I have got the Brooks mod installed, so that's installed and is active, so when I come to do some tree trimming and removal in the winter, we will be able to do that. Apart from that, there's not really a lot to report, you know, we are just cruising along. I have had some weird issues this morning with YouTube. I received a couple of emails during the night in the early hours of this morning. You know, some wonderful made up bullshit company has made a couple of content claims on some of my videos for music. So I'm having to contest those. But normally what I do when a company makes a claim for music in a video, normally it's just easy for me to go in to the YouTube studio, create a studio, find the video, click on the content claim, see what's being claimed, and then usually YouTube give you this lovely little button that enables you to remove the audio. And basically they go and remove the audio from the video, which removes the claim. You've still got your video, they just silence that part of the video where the offending material was being claimed. I mean, usually it's rubbish anyway, because most of these companies claiming the video actually are, you know, are bogus. They're false claims. But, you know, I'm not in a position where I can contest and challenge them legally in court. So, and YouTube keeps letting people make claims without providing any evidence to support their claim, and does not force them to actually, you know, provide any evidence that they own the content they are claiming, which I think is a massive, massive error. And I think YouTube should have changed that long before now. But anyway, I went into my video, as I say, YouTube studio this morning to remove audio on a couple of videos, and that button's not there anymore. For some weird reason, YouTube have removed the ability to remove claimed audio, and instead they've replaced it with a button that basically removes the entire segment of video. So if you click that button, it cuts out the video and the audio, and I don't think that's very good. Not for a video game content creator like me, because you're going to end up with jumps in your videos. When you cut out the audio, you're going to cut out sections of video too, and depending on the length of the audio, I mean, one of my videos that got claimed last night had 3 minutes of audio claimed. If I use the YouTube button, that's going to cut out 3 minutes of my video as well, not just the audio, so people aren't going to be able to watch 3 minutes of video. It's just going to disappear. And if you're playing a story game or a narrative driven game, that's going to be very confusing for people to follow. People are going to wonder what's going on. Especially as I don't put a lot of jump cuts and edits in my videos, because I don't want people to ever accuse me of doing something nefarious off camera, or you know, something like that. I like people to see exactly every step of the process, so they can see I do everything legit, that I'm not cheating in any way, shape or form in any of the games I play and feature here on the channel. But yeah, I'm not sure about that new YouTube tool. The funny thing is, if I went, the what's weird about it as well is if you go back to the YouTube Classic studio type thing, the remove audio button is still there, because I was able to remove audio from a video. It was actually one of the live stream videos. For some reason, I got 10 seconds of audio claimed for when me and Helgi was singing the we're doing the Sound of Silence in opening lines to Sound of Silence by Art Garfunkel. Simon and Garfunkel. Just saying, you know, the "Hello Darkness, my old friend." And this video is probably going to get claimed now because I've done that. But yeah, we did that on a stream for some reason. I don't know why. We both said it, sang it, whatever, and the video got claimed for it, even though it's us singing it. It's not the real song, and I doubt we're that, you know, tone perfect that we match the audio. But anyway, I've had to remove that audio from the video today, But as I say, YouTube Studio Classic lets you do it, but the new YouTube Studio that they kind of force on you, I mean, you have to press about 6 different buttons to get back to the Classic Studio feature. The new YouTube Studio program doesn't let you remove audio. Very weird. The things we YouTubers have to deal with. One of the reasons why I do like Twitch as a platform, Twitch is a little bit more easygoing. And I'm going to do some thinking this Christmas time. Because obviously I've been having issues, health issues for a long time now. Since my car accident in 2016, I've been having a lot of health issues. And over the last 6 months of this year, I've been having really bad problems, especially with my back. You know, I had an MRI done a couple of weeks ago. I'm waiting to get the results of that in a couple of weeks' time. So I kind of need to think how I justify my time. Obviously sitting here recording videos for YouTube is wonderful, is great. However, the time it then takes to put it through Sony Vegas, edit it, render it, upload it, and then upload it to YouTube, fill in all the boxes, tick all the flipping rubbish that YouTube now makes you want to conform to, like this, is the video suitable for kids and all that nonsense. It's just time. It's such a huge amount of time, and it forces me to spend so much longer at the PC than is really healthy for me and my back. Whereas Twitch, I can jump on Twitch, I can just hit the stream live, and whatever I'm doing at that particular moment, I can be streaming it. And I don't have to worry about editing it, I don't have to worry about censoring it, I don't have to worry about audio copyrights or anything like that. So I'm thinking maybe 2020 sees me maybe move away from YouTube as my main area of content upload, especially as the channel's not really growing. The channel's kind of stalled here on YouTube. I'm floating around at about 528 subscribers, and ultimately it's not getting me anywhere. I'm not, for me to get anywhere, I need to have 1,000 subscribers so I can re-enter the YouTube partner program and basically monetize and start earning a little bit of money off all my videos. So, I'm a long way from that, which means the amount of time I put into YouTube is effectively, it's time I'm giving away for free. Whereas at least on Twitch, with the Twitch subs, the Amazon Prime subs, the donations, the cheers, the bits, all that stuff, I've made more money on Twitch this year than I have done on YouTube, and it's not even close. It's not even close to say that Twitch has outperformed YouTube for me financially. So I'm thinking maybe 2020 I start doing more of my content each day on Twitch. Each day I just stream through the day, when I get up in the morning, whatever time, if I can start being regular, start at about 10 AM every morning, stream till maybe 3 in the afternoon before I have to go out and, meet my father each day. Maybe not stream so much in the evenings like I have been doing, because obviously competition at the moment, my channel and me as a Twitch person, I'm too small to compete with the big boys who stream at prime time in the evenings here in the UK. So maybe less streams there, in the evenings and just focus on the daytime viewers for a long while. Obviously weekends, then try and hit as much of the weekend as I can. Again, stream during the day, start at 10, maybe go till 4, throw in an extra hour or 5 even, do a full daytime sort of stream. And just stream whatever I'm playing, you know, don't necessarily do like I'm doing now. I mean, YouTube's great for Let's Plays, you know, for, you know, stuff like this where I'm doing episodic content, you know, Fenton Forest, episode, stuff like that. Whereas Twitch, you know, I could stream something completely different every day. It doesn't have to sync together, it doesn't have to link together, it doesn't have to have a cohesive story or narrative. Play what I fancy on a given day and see who turns up. And it'll give me a great way to see what type of games and what type of content people do want to view, and then obviously I can tailor myself to produce more of the stuff that people actually watch, the stuff that generates the most views. I mean, there's no big secret here on YouTube. My channel has been farm sim centric for the last year. For the whole time this game has come out, my channel has basically become a farm sim channel, not a variety gaming channel. I have covered some other games in the time period that farm sim has been out. I believe I did Project Hospital last year. Obviously I finished my Witcher 3 Let's Play, which had been running for God knows how many years. I actually went back in the summer and finished that off, resurrected that series and finished it, which was pretty cool. But apart from that, my channel has purely been farm sim. And that hasn't really brought me as many views as I thought it probably would have done. You know, the specific people out there that like the farm sim game and the farm sim community. Nor has my subscriber count really blown up because of my exclusivity to just doing content for one game. And you know, I've done a lot of hours in farm sim. But obviously we've got other games coming out fairly soon. I mean, like I say, I've been talking now, we've got Transport Fever coming out in a few days' time. I have actually got the beta version of Transport Fever 2 on my PC, which I'm going to maybe do a bit of a Twitch stream on in a little while, just to see what it's all about. I've been watching some of the other YouTubers and streamers who have been fortunate enough to get the full game early. People like Colonel Failure, Skystorm, Conflict Nerd, guys like that who are playing the game, the full version, the release version of the game. I must admit, watching their videos has been a bit painful because obviously I really want to play the game. And even though I've paid for it, I actually bought it on Steam with my own money. The developers haven't given me early access to it, so I can't make my own videos and stuff. Hence why I had to go on the internet and download a pirate version of the beta, which I can play until the release version. But one of the things I noticed with all these YouTubers and streamers and early access people playing the game currently is that they're all playing on the same map, the tropical map. You know, many of them have now released, 7 or 8 hours worth of video content, and they're still faffing around in like the 1850s. on the game. None of them have got to the 1900s. They're still faffing around with horse and carts and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, what? They are really dragging this out. They're really dragging out the content and obviously the views and making as much money as they can without actually showing us anything. You know, I watched a video by, I think it was Sky Storm the other day, where he literally spent probably half an hour of a nearly hour-long video debating over where to place a decorative tree. I'm like, you know, that's really scraping the barrel, that is. When you're just faffing about with pointless decorations instead of playing the game. I'm thinking, you really are dragging this out, boy. Now, I'm not saying I'm an expert Transport Fever player. Far from it. I admit that I suck very badly at Transport Fever. In fact, in all the, you know, the 100 hours that I put into the original game, I don't think I ever made it very far on any map that I played, because I would always go bankrupt very early on. You know, I never made it very far into the 1900s. I think 1920 was about the furthest I ever got on any particular map or level. Playing it, you know, properly, playing the game properly, that is. I mean, obviously, if I had, like, the no-cost mod and things like that, I could have, you know, got quite far in the game, but it wouldn't have been much of a game then, wouldn't have been much of a challenge, would it? So I always tried to play, you know, with costs and everything, and I would always go bankrupt. So it would be interesting to see if I fare any better in Transport Fever 2, especially with the changes they've made. And it's such a divisive subject. You go on the forums and everything, and you look, the comments about the change in the cargo system, where cities only now accept two lots of cargo. They don't accept everything you can make on a map. They only accept 2 lots of cargo, and it's fixed, and it's generated when the map's generated. So you have no say over what cities demand which products. So you've only got to run. I mean, some people say, oh, it's going to make the game a lot easier because you've only got to run 2 cargo lines into a city now, 1 for each product. But then you've got to think, well, hang on a minute, depending on how the map generates, a city could ask for cargo, you know, that is nowhere near it. You know, you could have to ship from, you know, the opposite end of the map to meet a town's needs, and in the early game would be, you know, just a non-starter, you know. Plus they've also made some different changes now to the cargo system as well. Like, for most of the systems, the raw material that you need to start a production chain is consumed when you. So, for example, if a city wants food, obviously you need to get grain, and then you need to transfer that grain to the factory that turns it into food, into bread, and then you need to transport the bread to the city. However, what happens now, when you pick up the grain from the farm and take it to the factory consumes a lot of that for its own workers and stuff. And also, to produce 1 unit of food, you need 2 units of grain. So, you know, I delivered, you know, 10 units of grain to a factory. The factory, you know, ate 6 units of it. And then because of the 2-to-1 ratio, instead of getting 4 units of food, I only got 2. So, damn, that's very hard to make the end product that the city needs when the factories are consuming so much of it. And then, of course, they've made some other changes to cargo lines and production lines. Like, for example, one of the popular things to do in Transport Fever 1 was obviously fuel. Fuel was a very good, simple line to set up to start making some income. You basically took oil, found an oil well on the map, you picked up the oil, you took it to the refining plant turned it into fuel, and you took that fuel and chucked it into the towns and cities. You also had the option of taking from the refining plant, refined oil and taking it off to a factory to turn into plastic. So, you know, you had two potential avenues there of income: fuel and plastics. However, now what they're doing, the sneaky little flippers, you pick up your crude oil on the map in Transport Fever 2. You've then got to take it to a refining plant to have it turned into, you know, refined oil, and then you've got to take it from there to either a fuel factory to be turned into fuel, or you have to take it, or you can take it to the factory and have it turned into plastics. So in Transport Fever 1, producing fuel was a two-step process, you know. Crude oil to the refining plant, and then refining plant to your industries. Now you've got to go crude oil to refining plant to fuel factory to your towns and cities. So they're throwing in an extra step. And again, your crude oil to refining plant, your refining plant uses twice as much crude oil to produce fuel. So if you deliver 10 units of oil, you only get 5 units of refined fuel. And then when you take your refined fuel to the fuel factory, it does the same thing. So you only get like 2.5 units then of fuel. It's going to make it very difficult. You're going to have to ship so much raw materials into your factories. And what they've also done this year, apparently in Transport Fever 2, to completely mess this system up, is that the raw material factories, the places that are producing the crude oil or the grain or whatever, your logs and things like that, your stone, your coal, your iron ore, they can't be upgraded to produce more. They are fixed at a certain production amount. So if you want to supply more materials to your factory, so for example, if I wanted to produce more food, I need to basically link several farms to the one factory. That's going to be difficult to do, I tell you. Right. So we're not bothered about weeds on these maps here, on these fields, because they're not seeded yet. Right, we've got to go do field 1 next. I knew there was another field. We're going to do field 1, and then we need to get the fertiliser out and go around and touch up some of the other fields. The animals have been fed. I took care of that this morning before I started recording. Hence why it was like nearly 9 AM when you guys joined me today. Things I do need to pay attention though to is the pricing screen. So canola's getting nearly time to sell canola. First day of winter, it's canola time. And I'm looking at, it's the wool I was kind of looking at, but we're not going to get to sell that until spring, which seems a bit strange to me. Why would you want woolly wool in spring? Surely if you want jumpers and stuff like that, and blankets and stuff, you need them for the winter when it gets cold. So I would have thought we'd be selling wool now in autumn, so it can be manufactured into whatever is needed to keep people warm in winter. Now my grass field over here isn't going to grow. That's going to stay harvested now until the spring. Just unfortunately the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. despite the fact that the wild grass on the map, this is what confuses me, up here, right, the wild grass is growing. My field is not. I don't understand though. I do not. Right. So this is going to work. I mean, I know this is probably a waste of time. People will probably tell me in the comment section below that I don't need to be weed killing the weeds, because the weeds are going to die off in the winter anyway when it gets cold. The weeds will be killed by the winter frost. Big freeze. One of the things I am tempted to possibly do, I'm tempted to maybe shorten the season length to just 3 days in the winter, just so I can get through winter a lot quicker. And then once we hit spring, the first day of spring, whack it back up to 6 days. Because there's very little I'm going to be able to do in the winter. I mean, obviously, selling wheat, we're going to have obviously a couple of sales. We're going to have a day where we're going to be selling crops. So that's, you know, whether that's potentially going to be an entertaining video for everybody to watch, I don't know. But yeah, there's going to be a day where we're going to just basically be selling stuff. The fun and joy that brings. There's a day where I'm going to be going around removing a few more trees and some of the leftover bits of trees that the T-Rex hasn't been able to remove thus far from the map. Field fully fertilised. Yes. So I don't need to spray this field again. But I do need to get down to field 26 and even that up. And I also need to fertilise 17 and 18 because they're not fully fertilised. But that may be something that has to wait a little bit. Potentially. I'm not sure if putting fertiliser on top of herbicide works. Whether that undoes the herbicide. One of the things I do know is I'm running out of herbicide and I'm going to have to go and refill this thing. To finish this field, I'm not going to have enough to do this in one pass. Good job I'm back at the farm. It would have been a great shame if I'd run out when I was still doing field 17 and 18 because that's a long drive. That's a long drive back to the farm from there. 4%. Right, let's go and replenish our stock. One of the things I forgot to do was just check. It might be the sheep. The sheep are going to need some more hay. I think my little trailer is empty. I think that's the problem. My trailer is empty. I think when it came time to feed in the sheep, my little trailer had run out of hay. Another thing we've got to look forward to as well in the winter is selling our pigs, you know, selling our piggies. Some of them will be nearly old enough to be sold. Which is going to be very, very useful. Right, a bit more of the old fertilising. We'll lower the sprayer attachment on the back of the machine. It does go quite low actually, which is quite nice. I think when it comes time to fertilise, we'll use Mr. Rubicon. That probably makes the most sense. Mr. Rubicon. Another thing I'm probably going to start streaming, or doing a stream of, somewhere down the road, is Assassin's Creed. People say Assassin's Creed? Yeah, I might be giving some of the Assassin's Creed games a bit of a stream. I've recently, obviously in the Black Friday sales, picked up Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and when I registered it in Uplay, on my Ubisoft account, I noticed I'd got Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered sat there. I've got Black Flag. I'd got Rogue. I'd got Origins, and obviously Odyssey. Might be tempted to play for a few of those. Again, on my Twitch account, doing some live streaming. I haven't got Unity, or is it Assassin's Creed Unity and Assassin's Creed Syndicate? I haven't got those. I don't own those two games. Don't know why. Don't know why I didn't pick those up. Oh well, I know why I didn't pick was it Unity? I know why I didn't pick Unity up, because that was buggy when that came out. When that came out, that had some real issues. That game did. Graphics issues and everything, you know. Because I remember getting a slightly unofficial copy of that game, shall we say, to test it, to demo it, to try it before I committed to buying it, and I was like, nope. I'd already heard and read a lot of things online about the game being quite shockingly bad, quite bug-ridden and broken, and graphics being broken. So yeah, that's why I didn't buy Unity. Don't know why I did. Syndicate, I may have. I think Syndicate I've got on my PlayStation 4. That may have been a PS Plus game or something, and that's probably why I didn't pick it up on PC. I also noticed I've still got Far Cry Primal sat in my Uplay software. I ought to give that a bit of a play. I like the Far Cry games, and I liked Primal being set in, you know, caveman time type of things. That might be worth me having a few streams, just do something different from these types of games. Also, a game I've played again recently was Software Inc. That's now in Alpha 11. I was playing that the other day for a few hours and lost all track of time. Again, it's got some interesting changes to it. A few bugs and kinks that need to be worked out. One of the things I noticed in that game that was very weird, I don't know if it was in earlier, it may have been in earlier games, or it may have been because of a mod in one of the earlier versions, but there's no way to remove software from sale once you've released it. And that's a bit of a weird thing for me, because playing the game, you know, for example, you start the game in 1970. That's when you create, you start your company. You're the only employee. You're working out of, you know, your garage in your house, if that's the route you went for. Basically from there, you have obviously you develop, you know, software and release it and start forming your software company, obviously with, you know, the intentions of one day becoming like, you know, Apple or Microsoft, or being, you know, world leader sort of thing. And it's weird because, like, 1970, the first thing I developed and released was a 2D editor, like a photo editing software, picture editing software. And what I find really weird is, you know, 30 years later, in the year 2000, I still keep getting bombarded with messages and telling me that I'm not meeting demand. Sales are falling because I haven't ordered or printed any copies, and it's like, I don't really want to still be selling a piece of software that I made 30 years ago that doesn't run on most operating systems. You know, you would think people would have updated and upgraded, especially when I've released multiple sequels to that software over the years. So the fact that there's no button to press to remove from sale is weird to me. And it's even more annoying when you start taking over companies, you start buying out other companies and taking over them, and, you know, your shares and stuff like that. Because when you take over a company, you obtain obviously all its product catalogue and library and all its IPs, and then you have to keep selling them. And it's like, well, hold on a minute, if I've bought a company out that produce, like, for example, I produce antivirus software, and I bought another company out that made antivirus software, why do I want to keep selling their antivirus software? Surely I would remove theirs from the market and just leave mine as the one and only option for people to buy. You know, I know that would be sort of anti competition and would go against trade laws and stuff for, you know, removing competition and dominating the market sort of thing, and providing people with no options, no alternatives. But sort of thing that you would do, it would make sense. Also, one of the weirdest things about software in Alpha 11 is the fact that you've now got to have like a legal team because you can get sued now by companies. For example, like I was making a piece of software which I'd decided to have another company publish for me. A bigger company took over publishing, which means they handle all the marketing, they handle all the printing of the discs and stuff like that, which makes it easier for me. Obviously they take, you know, a percentage of the sales, and they took like 28% of the money from the sales of that software when it released. But obviously it takes a lot of, when you're a small company first starting out, it does help to have another company sort of take that sort of element, because obviously you can't afford to have people, a marketing team, and you can't afford to have like printing and machines and stuff like that. It's just too expensive in the you know, the start. Obviously, one of the things when you have a publisher and you hire a publisher is you have to tell the publisher when you're going to release the product, so that they can begin marketing it and hyping it and all that stuff, you know. So obviously I think one piece of software, I said I was going to release it in, I think it was December 1973, you know, because I just didn't know how long it was going to take me to make the software and bug test it and bug fix it and everything. As it turned out, I made the software a lot quicker than I thought, and it was ready in, you know, April of that year. And when I looked at how many followers, you know, how many people were, you know, looking forward to the software and everything, it was starting to actually fall. The number of people who were like interested in the software and hyped for the software was starting to fall. And I was like, if I don't release this software, it's going to hurt my sales, because people are going to lose interest in the product. So I went ahead and released the software, I think it was in March or April, and the publisher sued me for not sticking to the release date. And obviously I didn't have lawyers, I didn't have a legal team, so they took 30 grand off of me. I couldn't fight them, I couldn't win. So yeah, you have to hire lawyers and stuff now. And again, you get the same, like if you sack an employee, they take you to court for sacking them. So again, and also when you research any technology and stuff and you want to patent and trademark it, so you can get royalties for it when other companies use it, you've got to have a legal team, apply for the patents. So that's something all new from when I last played Software Inc. Also, something else that's also new is the fact that there are burglars that come to your premises and steal your stuff, steal your equipment. So one of the things you have to do quite early on is start paying insurance, so that you can, when your stuff gets stolen, the insurance company will replace it. Otherwise you have to buy it yourself and replace it manually using, obviously, build mode, which is incredibly weird. I'm not gonna lie. You also have to, like, then obviously hire staff. Obviously when I last played Software Inc, you could hire maintenance people to come in and fix things around your company, IT people to come in and repair and service all your computers, cleaners to obviously come in, clean the floors and rooms and stuff in your company, your office building, obviously receptionists to man reception, and then obviously couriers to come and collect any boxes of products that you were printing and that yourself. But now you have to hire like security guards to actually, like, you know, protect your premises from burglars, as well as you need to buy and place security cameras around your company to again protect you in case, you know, burglars break in. So that's something new, as is also disasters. One of the things I noticed as I was going through the buy mode, decorating an office, there are fire alarms now available to purchase and put in rooms, because apparently your office building can now catch on fire. And again, you can lose all your equipment to a fire, as well as potentially lose employees to death if they get caught in the fire. That opens up a whole new realm of things as well, because then not only do you need to have insurance for your equipment and pay an insurance company every month to keep your contents protected, but then you also need to have employee benefits set up so that, you know, if an employee dies, their family receives, you know, a payout. Otherwise, again, you get sued, and your legal team, if you have one, can try and fend off. Otherwise, without it, you just get clobbered. And also, you know, employee benefits now. If an employee ends up in hospital as well, you know, you have to pay them. So much cool stuff has been added to that game, and obviously the graphics still look brilliant. It's still, you know, weirdly, oddly, you know, it's got a charm. The graphics have a charm, especially the way everyone bangs away on their computer with perfectly straight arms. But obviously, one of the things I noticed playing, obviously, Alpha 11, is that a lot of the mods I used when I last played the game, when I did a Let's Play series on it, have are no longer work, no longer supported, and need to be redone, need to be rewritten and updated by the persons who made them. So there's quite a few things now missing from the game, like all the different software types, being able to make hardware. Remember that when we made hardware in my Let's Play, software in Let's Play, where we actually released our own PCs eventually. We made graphic, you know, we moved away. We started off software as a software company early on, and then we moved into making like processors, graphics cards, memory, stuff like that. And then eventually we made our own PCs, sold PCs, like complete systems. Basically became like Apple, you know. We created our own version of the Mac. We had our own operating system. Any software we made was exclusive for our operating system, and we pretty much took over the whole IT and technology market. We became the only company, because you had to own our PC to use our operating system, and you had to use our operating system to use all our different software packages. And companies were just dead in the water trying to compete against us. If they tried to bring out their own product, then, and if someone tried to bring out an operating system, nobody went for it, because all the technology, all the PCs and stuff like that wouldn't run it, because they were, we were manufacturing them only to use our own. You know, a bit like how on like Apple Macs, you can actually install Windows on a Mac using various different software. You can dual boot a Mac and put Windows on a Mac if you want. In Software Inc. though, we didn't give companies that option. Our PCs couldn't be, you couldn't use any software on the PCs that wasn't ours. So any other companies trying to make and release software were just wasting their time, because they would have to make hardware that could run the software, and people weren't going to buy hardware to run an unknown, untested piece of software. So eventually it got to the point in that Let's Play where, you know, I had won. we were victorious. We'd taken over the world. But certainly from what I played of the new Alpha 11, there's some definitely different ways of doing things in that. Obviously, one of the things you tended to always do when you started out, you did obviously contract work. You did contracts for other companies to bring in money whilst you was developing your first piece of software or first couple of pieces of software, to make sure you'd always got some income coming in every month whilst you was looking to make your big seller, launch your first release. Well, now they've added an option as well where you can, if you have a reception on your office and have a receptionist, companies will come to you with deals where you can work on, say, designing a product for them, and basically the deals are really good. In stark contrast to contracts, deals are pretty good, because you get like a company will come to you saying, we want you to help us design product X, and basically we want you to work with us for 2 years, and we're going to pay you, you know, $5,000 a day for those 2 years. That's $5,000 a day guaranteed for 2 years to do design work and contribute to their product. Yeah, I'm going to take that. I can still work on my own software at the same time and give it priority, but at the same time, in the background, I've got these deals ticking away, bringing me money in, income every day, every month. And I do design deals, I do development deals. What's great as well is, as your company starts to grow and you start to expand and hire more staff, one of the things I generally do, I bring in young staff, young inexperienced staff, and basically I make them do like an apprenticeship. They do like an apprenticeship. They gain experience and gain skill by basically I put them to work on the deals. I don't let them loose on my own software. I save that for obviously the more experienced and higher skilled members of staff, but I let the youngsters gain experience and gain skill by working on the deals. Fantastic solution, great little kind of workaround. And there's a game again that I'm kind of tempted to go back and play again on the channel. Do a couple of videos on Alpha 11. Let's see. Okay, so this will actually reach full fertilisation now. Prior to seeding it. Interesting. Anyway, this video's got quite long. It's nearly an hour. We've done some weed killing, we've done herbicide spraying, we're working through the last little bit of autumn. When you come back for the next episode, we will be in winter. So thank you for watching today's episode of the Fenton Forest 4X map with seasons. If you've enjoyed the video, please go ahead, click that like button. If you're not doing so already, please hit that subscribe button. Like I've said, if we could reach 1,000 subs on the channel by the end of the year, that would be great for me. So again, if you have watched the video, please feel free to share it with whomever and wherever you see fit, to try and obviously get a few more people interested in my content. And if you've got any questions, suggestions, comments, feedback, anything at all you want to say or talk or discuss with me or anyone else, feel free to drop it in the comment section below this video. I've been C1ESO. Bye for now.